So you had some time off this summer because of an injury. How is that beneficial, and how has that set you back a little bit for coming into the Supercross season?
You know, I think the main thing was, thankfully it wasn't worse, but also I was able to take a couple months off. I didn't really have to rush back into it. I was really able to take the time to heal the C6 in my neck. Didn't have to have surgery or anything like that, but you know, from moving forward from that, I just try to take it as a positive. You know, use the time wisely. It doesn't do me any good to just beat myself up. I should be out there. You know, I try to use it wisely, do the things that I haven't got to do, and just be refreshed. I think that there's no hindrance. I think the best thing for this season was just being able to, once I got back on the bike, I was able to take the time. You know, I had a good bit of time to start getting ready, and we eased into it. And then around November, we started ramping it up and building it up more, and everything feels good. Everything feels like it's firing nicely. The bike setup feels good. Physically, I feel good, and we're healthy and safe, thankfully. But also, you know, with Jason and Marvin, we're pushing each other at the track, and you know, it's that race intensity's there. But yeah, it was just different from what I'm used to. I don't, you know, if I can be in it, I want to, but I also have to. Hey, it's what it was, and I made a mistake, and thankfully it wasn't worse, and I had to move forward from that.
With so many fast guys in the class, how important is an early win in the season, and does a mud race change all that?
Yeah, a mud race definitely changes things up a bit, but you know, we try to prepare on all fields and be ready for that. But at the same time, it's a win is definitely important. You know, you want to get things started off in the right direction, and then even if it's just a solid finish, a top 3 finish, then you build on that. But wherever that is, you know, you can't, you know, I need to finish this. You know, you can't. Don't worry about the expectations. Try to really apply yourselves, execute, and you know, give it your best and put yourself in a good position. And don't let it be because you didn't, you know, give it your all, and you were worried about all this other things that you didn't, you know, finish where you should have. You know, let it be because you gave it your best. Whatever happened, out of your control, and move forward. You know, you can't front about what you can't control either. So, focus on what you can control.
Perfect answer. So, when you watch it on TV, they have the 3 keys to the race before each main event gate drop. What are your 3 personal keys to doing well or winning Anaheim 1?
Well, usually they got it right off the bat. A good start's important. You want to put yourself in a good position right off the bat. That helps. And then secondly, you know, if you can get that, maintaining a good pace out front, you know, putting your, you know, try to get out and break away, and then no mistakes, minimal mistakes. You know, these days guys are right on your heels to capitalize. But you can't be afraid to fail either.
You obviously showed you had the speed at Monster Cup. That was with minimal time on the finished race bike. How many changes have you made to it since that night?
I mean, we have done quite a few changes, but then again, not too much. We've only tested a couple of times, and every time we made the bike better. So I have not had a unsuccessful test day at all. The bike's a lot better now. I've had a lot more time on it, and we're ready to go. You know, I'm just happy because I haven't had any problems, any knock on wood, no troubles, and that makes leading into the first race so much better mentally, and it's been really good to me physically too, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
How important is an early win in the season, and how does things change if it's a mud race?
Well, you know, you always want to win. Every time we go out there, we want to do our best and win. But again, first race, you can't win a championship, but you can lose it. So it's about being consistent and obviously getting a lot of races. Nobody has ever won all 17 rounds, so I'm sure we'll face some battles here and there, but getting a good start is the most important. And obviously, I personally like the rain. It always makes it a little bit gnarlier for Supercross, but in the end, it's the same for everybody. So whole shot will be amazing if it rains, but I mean, a whole shot's always good no matter what. So.
You kind of mentioned in the press conference that you feel very prepared now. Do you think you're more prepared the first year with a new team than you were last year with the second year?
Absolutely, yeah. We're way more prepared. First off, myself and me being with my new team, I'm beyond stoked where I'm at right now.
Very good. And so when you watch the racing on TV, they say the 3 keys to the race. What are your personal 3 keys to the Anaheim 1 race?
Stay out of trouble. Last year in the heat race, I got taken down, had a pretty big crash, and kind of ruined my night a little bit. So, you know, it's starting off with, you know, obviously getting a good feel on the track and making sure that the bike is 100%, and for sure getting good starts, absolutely. Because last year in the beginning of the year, I've had terrible starts. I was barely, like I literally barely in the top 15, and that makes it a lot harder when all the good guys are already up front or getting hole shots because they're going to be gone. So getting good starts and not crashing for sure.
So you're a very aggressive rider. You're coming into a class with some more senior riders. Do you change your approach to how you race these guys in the 450 class?
Yes and no. I mean, it's longer racing and there's a lot more guys. I mean, my approach is the same, as to try to win, and you know, I feel like I have a little more time to make passes, and you know, obviously the starts are important, especially with all these guys. But they're just, you know, faster, stronger. That's why it's the premier class. So you know, I think the approach doesn't really change. Maybe the game plan a little bit, but as I race them, I don't think will really change.
So coming into this new class, let's say hypothetically we're 5 rounds in, you've gotten a podium at every round but no wins. Is that a good thing for you, or are you going to be a frustrated guy?
That'd be awesome. I mean, you got to kind of adjust yourself to this class. I mean, it's not the 250s anymore, so you know, I'm racing multiple-time champions. So for me, I'd be pumped on that. You know, then that's what makes racing so exciting, is you don't know. That's the element that is unknown. Is we show up every weekend and you don't know exactly or anything that's going to happen. So you know, I would just take it race by race, and like I said, for me, I'm just trying to go out there and learn, and you know, race how I know how to race and do everything I know how to do. But you know, just see what I can learn from these guys.
You said in the press conference that there's less pressure because you are a rookie, less expectations. You've also said previously that you put a lot of pressure on yourself. Is this the kind of thing where if you're on the track and you're in second, you might lay up and take second, or are you in the heat of the moment? Are you going to be able to be mellow, or are you going to go for the win?
I mean, it's so hard to say, but I think for me, it's every time I'm on the track, I want to win. You know, I don't want to sit and ride over my head and, you know, risk a second, but at the same time, you know, for me, and it always depends where you are in points, and there's so much, you know, to hypothetical questions. So, you know, for me, I just want to go out there and try to win, and if not win, be on the podium, and if I'm not a podium guy, be a top 5 guy. You know, I don't know where I'll be, so it's so hard to say, but you know, I'm confident, and you know, I think the pressure's not there. I have no pressure to win a championship. You know, I don't think anybody thinks I can or will. So for me, I'm just going out there and racing, and if it happens to be that I'm up there towards the front, you know, especially in the points, then that's awesome, and you know, just go from there.
So when you're watching the main event on television, they give the 3 keys to the race. What are your 3 personal keys to the Anaheim 1 main event?
My 3 keys are, I think, stay calm, you know, just ride my race, and don't do anything stupid or too aggressive too soon. Obviously a good start is going to help, and I'd say the 3rd key is just have fun if I can, you know, because it's such a nerve-wracking race that I think the more you can be like yourself, the better, and you know, just kind of let the emotions flow, and not be so tight and stiff, and you know, try to be like yourself.
Jason Anderson, you won last year A1, and in the press conference you just said that it was kind of a surprise to yourself. Yeah. But if you win again, is it another surprise?
Yeah, I know. Probably not this time. You know, I really feel like I'm riding good this year, and I know what it's like to, you know, win some races and do good. So I definitely feel like, yeah, I think it would be cool, and I don't think it would be a surprise, but still at the same time I would be, you know, really happy about it.
As one of, I mean, a lot of people are switching bikes, switching teams. You didn't this year. Do you see that as an advantage, and obviously why?
Yeah, well, I've been with the same team for 7 years now, yeah. So I mean, for me, I don't really see myself going anywhere. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I know the people I'm working with, and they know me, and I feel like we're going to work together to get up there, you know. And I feel like we've always made progression, and that's what we're going to try and do this year.
And then as far as, I mean, all the commentators before races say, you know, here's the key to the race. A1 being kind of a one-off a little bit just because it's new. What would you say are the keys to the race of A1?
Just get a good start and stay out of the chaos, and just try and do your best, put in your laps, and I feel like just putting in your laps. Really, that's it. And as simple as that sounds, it's actually pretty tough to do sometimes.
So why is it tough?
Just concentrating on yourself with all the chaos and stuff going on around you.
Absolutely, it's good momentum for us. You know, obviously going to try to carry that into this race, especially with how last year's season went as a whole. So last year I didn't feel like I was myself at all, and didn't really get it kind of even rolling until the end, you know, with a few podiums. And I definitely want to start there this year. So, but that being said, I had some things up against me, you know, with the injury and even switching to a new motorcycle. So this year, no excuses at all. Had a healthy off season, and see what we can bring. Well, I mean, obviously number one would be number one, which is Ryan Dungey. You know, the guy, he's been on top of our sport the past few years. So, you know, he has everything together. He has the consistency, and he can win. So that's obviously the biggest, or the guy you're shooting for. You want to be that guy, is what that guy was last year. 9 or 10 wins and a podium every round. You know, here it's just to manage the race. It's just to get, you know, you can think of it different ways. I mean, it would be great to go out there and win it, but you just don't want to blow it. So podium would be nice to get out of here and then start laying down the hammer. So you know, I would love to win, and I actually feel like I'm in a good enough position where I can. So going there with a level head, see what we can do.
Basically, I mean, you had a great offseason and doing really well in Australia. Obviously, everyone trains and is in good shape. Like, which of those do you rely on for confidence going to A1? The experience and the doing well off-season, or your training?
I think it's the balance of it all. You know, I think with the experience, you understand and know kind of what you need to do from the training side of things. You know, as the years go on, I feel like there's areas that you need to work harder, but there's also areas that you can't work as hard. You know, so I think that like the last couple of years has kind of been like a little bit of a like growing pains in some ways. You know, where this year it seems like it was really consistent. What I felt last year, you felt this year. Where like the last couple of years, it's like things were changing. You know, if I'm to rewind a couple of years, it was like I was still running a team, but I was beat. You know, last year I didn't have a job. Where this year it just seemed like I knew where I was going, and I knew how to get there and what I wanted to achieve to get there. And then now we're here, and I feel that the work's being done, and that gives me, you know, excitement and confidence.
Obviously, I mean, you've raced quite a bit. Is there anything specific about this year or this team or this bike that excites you, that's a little bit different?
For me, there's something that feels edgy. You know, like I feel confident. I feel much more happy within the team and the bike. And I think that there's a lot of contributing factors in the fact that knowing what you're doing and planning out your off season in a way that you have to be a champion and to win races. That I was able to do that this year. You know, like the last 7 years, it's kind of been really, you know, like trying to find sponsors on my team and, you know, worrying about how I'm going to keep going with the team. And then last year trying to find a team. So it's been a lot of things, 3 kids in 6 years. So a lot's been going on. And I think that, you know, my youngest is now 2. So I just think that the household life in general is really, I wouldn't call it mellow, because having 3 kids is never mellow, but it's just the vibe is forever the same, and that allows me, I think, to be in a better place, to do my work, and then also be a dad when I'm home.
And lastly, you know, A1 is pretty much a different race because it's chaotic. A lot of people trying to do a lot of stuff. So what's your focus? I mean, obviously championship is the goal, but for just this weekend, what do you focus on?
You know, I think the outside looking in, everybody shows up thinking they're on the best bike, the best team. You know, they've done the appropriate training. But being one of the athletes, you know that there's second thoughts in areas, and that's why I think Anaheim always throws a curveball. The good survive Anaheim, I think, it's not easy to show up here and win Anaheim 1. You know, I've done it 3 times, and a lot of times second. So to show up Saturday night, good start, have a shot at winning would make me really proud. I'm tied on 8 wins with McGrath, Carmichael, and Stewart. So to have 9 and stand alone as the all-time winner of Anaheim would make me really proud.
So we just had the press conference. You weren't up there. It seems like you're often kind of the invisible man, and then you'll come out and have some amazing races. Does that motivate you to be kind of considered maybe an underdog?
No, I don't say it motivates me. I mean, to be honest, I don't really care. I don't. If they're not going to put me in the press conference, doesn't mean I'm not going to, I'm going to go out there and ride 50% or anything like that. I've done my work. I've done, my training, my testing, all that kind of stuff. So none of that really matters to me. To be honest, the press conferences are really just uncomfortable interviews for me. I feel like you crack a joke and nobody really laughs or anything like that. It's just, like I said, it's just uncomfortable. I'd rather just, be down there hanging out on the rig, waiting for it to end so I can come up here and knock out my interviews and, yeah, go enjoy this beautiful rainy day.
Very nice. You're on a brand new bike from Honda this year. What's been the biggest challenge adapting to the new bike?
To be honest, there's been really no challenges. It's been pretty much plug and play for us. We did a lot of testing over the summer during the outdoors with the new bike, just kind of developing the engine package and getting an idea of what the suspension, dynamics and chassis dynamics were going to be, and kind of get a head start on it before we get to the Supercross season. But I mean, my first day on the bike, I rode the 16 back-to-back with the 17, and there was noticeably, a better platform and a better race bike to be built. So I've been really happy with it. It's been a lot of fun, and really it's been an honor to be alongside with the guys at Honda developing a bike. You don't really get to say, or not many people get to say they got to do that. So I've been really, really pumped to be a part of that process. And being a Southern California guy that trains in Southern California, you get my teammate Kenny, who goes to Florida to train and all that kind of stuff. I get to really kind of have that at my disposal of, hey guys, maybe we can work on suspension today, or maybe we can work on that. I'm feeling something this way, or whatever it might be. I can call those guys up and, in the next day or two, have them out at the test track, developing parts or developing settings, and it's been really cool, like I said, to be a part of that.
So we're 2 days away from the opening round. Results-wise, what are you going to be happy with coming out of Anaheim 1?
I get asked that question so much, I don't know how to answer it. Going out of A1, just I don't even know. I mean, I want to say top 5, but I want more than that. I'm trying to really just focus on race to race and winning. It's last year I'd say I went into the series with kind of a mindset of like I should be in the title hunt all year long, and you kind of look at the big picture, and it almost kind of takes you away mentally from the task at hand, which is the night, that racing that night. So I'm just focusing, race to race, night to night, and just trying to put in results, try and get good starts, and try and put myself in a good position to win every night.
Perfect. So when you're watching the racing on TV, before the gate drops on the main, they say these are the 3 keys to the race. What are your 3 personal keys to doing well at Anaheim 1?
3 keys, I mean, I think every single night, and obviously they always state is get a good start. I mean, that's half the race right there. So get a good start, stay loose, and now with the new 20 minutes plus 1, style of racing that we're going with, that you can kind of pace yourself in a way. You can kind of sprint in the beginning, and then kind of settle down a little bit, and then save some for the end, kind of thing. So I think that's going to be kind of something where I think every rider is going to be experimenting with different variations of pacing themselves. So yeah, I think those are my 3.
You've come off a really good off season, and but it is a little bit different than Supercross racing with all these guys. So how does that boost your confidence, or how does that affect the way you ride, for A1?
It is really important to do off-season races like I did, and especially to do good. I mean, like I said, I didn't have the competition that I'm gonna have on Saturday at A1, but it's still good to do some racing and to win any kind of races, and also to see how you're feeling on the bike. And we made some changes and see how it goes on the racetrack and doing starts and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely feeling confident and better than last year for sure.
So when you say you made some changes to the bike, was that from last year, or do you mean from the preseason races?
It was like on the off season, as soon as we started actually really early the new season, racing in Germany, racing the Monster Cup and the Red Bull Straight Rhythm, and around this area that's when we change a couple things on the bike, and with suspensions and chassis and stuff, and also to have a healthy off season is really important, and I didn't have that last year, so it makes a big difference.
So A1 is a little chaotic. What are you focused on? I mean, obviously everyone wants to win, but what are you focused on here differently? Just because everyone's fresh, everyone's ready to go, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody is looking forward to the A1 race, and all those you guys all are journalists and press conference and all that, so it makes it like obviously a big deal, and it is. I mean, it's the opener of the season, but yeah, it's 17 rounds, and after maybe second week or third week, it gets a more mellow, but anyway, it's still the same, and you focus on yourself and do the right thing and try to be the fastest. That's all I'm focused on right now, and working with the team too, and especially with Frankie, my mechanic, we get along super good, and we know each other well, and hopefully we're gonna do good.
So with David Millsaps, you won the Canadian Outdoor Nationals.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's motocross versus Supercross, but how does that affect you coming into the Supercross season?
Well, I mean, I was hoping to use it, to my advantage a lot more than I was able to. Just, I got hurt in the last round in Canada, and then had to have wrist and thumb surgery, and I was out for quite a while from that. And then, I started riding, started getting better, started getting good, and feeling normal again, and had a setback again, 2.5 weeks ago, and so I'm coming in, a little behind where I wanted to be, quite a bit behind where I want to be, but it's a long season, and hopefully I can work my way back up. I'm going to play catch up a little bit, but that's usually how I do it anyway. But it definitely sucks for me coming in like this, but it's like Canada, it was a long season, and I'm going to try to use that to my advantage.
I know A1's kind of crazy, hectic, but are there any rounds that you look forward to every year? I mean, you've done this quite a bit. But.
I mean, I have done it quite a bit, but going back east is fun. My family's back there, so being able to see them a couple times a year, with the races is definitely nice. The races out here are fun. My wife and kids and in-laws and friends to come out here, so that makes it nice. But probably my favorite race is Atlanta and Daytona. They're quite a bit different. They're big, and everyone from both sides of the family gets to be there.
Lastly, A1 being different, is there any keys to the race, like anything that you do differently here for this race that you're concentrating on for the first one?
Really, just trying to survive it. It's so hectic, and everyone's going haywire, and everyone wants to show that they're the best for the season and whatnot. But usually it's we just try to stay focused, try to keep to ourselves, and just worry about making now the 20 minutes plus one lap, and moving on to the next round, and keeping the season going, and not ending it here at Anaheim 1.